Hi, boys and girls. I want to share with you an overview of what our new Zearn mission is all about. Mission 6, displaying data. You are going to be able to interpret, display, and analyze the data. So there are several different types of graphs that you may have already learned. We're going to watch this video from Mr. Pearson, an amazing third grade teacher out there in cyber world, on collecting data.
This video is called Collecting Data, Using Graphs to Present Data. Our objective for this lesson is we will use graphs to present data that we have collected, and we will identify 3 types of graphs. A graph is a way to show and compare information. So when we're collecting things, say you want to find out how many green Skittles there are in several bags, or how many of your friends hit home runs during the baseball season, we can present that information using a graph. There are 3 types of graphs that we want to know today. First one is a line plot. Second one is a bar graph. And the third one is a picture graph. What you have here is, this is a line plot. A line plot is a graph on a number line. The x's above the number shows how many pieces of data apply to that number in the graph. So if you look at the graph that we have here on the screen, this graph's titled Books Read by Students. Each graph needs a title. And down below it says number of books. And you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what that means is some students read 1 book, some students read 2 books, some students read 3 books, 4 books, and 5 books. Each one of these X's stands for a student. So you can see here from looking at this, if we're looking at the graph about the number of books that students read, you can see that there were 3 students who read 1 book. There were 2 students who read 2 books. There were 3 students that read 3 books. 1 student read 4 books, and then this is a very literary class. We have 4 students who read 5 books. And there's lots of different things that we can do with this information, but for right now, that's what we want to focus on. So this is a line plot, and it helps us to record information on a number line. All right, this type of graph that you see here, this is a bar graph. A bar graph uses bars of different lengths to present and compare data. The numbers along the side of the graph are called a scale, and this helps show how many each bar represents. This particular graph is called Types of Trees in the Park. So I imagine somebody went out and counted the trees in the park, and then they put it into a bar graph. And you can see the scale goes to 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. And down at the bottom they have the oak trees, the pine trees, and the maple trees. And if you look at this graph and use the scale, you can see that the person who made this graph saw 6 oak trees, they saw 4 pine trees, and they saw 8 maple trees. They use those bars to help them figure it out. If they wanted to represent a number that wasn't on the graph, that wasn't on the scale, say 5 or 7, then that bar would have only gone halfway up. So it would have been in between. If it was 5, it would have been in between the 4 and the 6. This graph that you see here, this is called a picture graph. A picture graph uses symbols to present and compare data. A picture graph has a key. If you look down at the bottom, you can see the key there. The key tells how many of each kind the symbol represents. So in this particular graph, if you look at the key, it says that each one of those circles equals 2 baskets. So if we look, this graph is called Baskets of Apples Picked. We have Maurice, Megan, Matthew, and Nicole, and they each recorded how many baskets they picked. And next to Maurice, you see that there are 4 of those red circles. And so if you look at it, you might think, Maurice picked 4 baskets of apples. But then if you look at the key, it tells you that each one of those circles is worth 2 baskets. So in reality, Maurice didn't just pick 4 baskets, he picked 2, 4, 6, 8 baskets. And Nicole, who was very busy, she's got 6 circles there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each one of those circles or each one of those balls represents 2 baskets. So in reality, Nicole would have picked 12 baskets of apples. All right, let's review very quickly. There are 3 types of graphs that we looked at. A line plot. Remember, a line plot graphs data on a number line. A bar graph is one that uses bars, and a picture graph. A line plot is a graph on a number line that uses x's to show how many pieces of data there are. A bar graph uses bars of different lengths to represent and compare the data. And a picture graph uses symbols to represent and compare the data.
All right, so again, Mr. Pearson is a great resource for third grade math. So we're gonna move on. So when we think about sharing data on using a graph, we have to think about what our scale is, and we can actually use our count bys to help us. So this is a vertical line. There is a count by that is shown on this vertical line. I want you to think closely. Is the count by 12s? Or is it something smaller, because there is a tick mark here halfway between 0 and 12, and halfway between 12 and 24, and 24 and 36, and so on. So think to yourself, my friends, what is halfway between 0 and 12? If you're thinking 6, you are correct. The count bys that are really shown on this vertical number line are the 6 count bys. It's just that not every tick is marked. Something to think about. So I'm going to ask you right now to pause this video, and I want you to use this vertical tape diagram here, this vertical number line, to practice your skip counts starting at 0. So if I can move this little guy, I'm going to move this little guy. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. You're going to go up here. I'm going to start at 0, and then I'm going to start with my 7s, 14, 21, and so on. So we're going to move forward, but again, I want you to pause and I want you to practice skip counting all the way up to the 10s, and you have your multiplication chart to help you. This is, oh, look at that. See, Mrs. Brydowski, live and learn. This is let's clear this out, clear all my drawings. This is a word problem. And it starts with Damien folds a paper strip into equal parts, 6 equal parts. He shades 5 of the equal parts and then cuts off 2 shaded parts. Explain your thinking about what fraction is unshaded. So when I partition into 6, I like to cut in half, and then I like to cut in thirds. That's just an easy way for me to get equal pieces. And I'm going to very quickly shade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those equal pieces out of 6 total. But then he cuts off 2. I'm not sure why, but he does. So what fraction is left? To answer this, boys and girls, you need to know the entire whole. And you name the fraction piece based off the whole, even though he cut off 2 pieces. So this is 1/6 that is not shaded in. So we're going to move on. Boys and girls, in your check-in this morning, I asked you to tell me your favorite color choice from green, yellow, red, orange, and blue. It's very important that I have that data because we are creating a line plot based off of our favorite colors in room 208. So right now we have 3 students who chose green and 4 students who chose blue. I will tell you that there are some adults involved too that gave an answer to their favorite color. So please remember today that you need to go into Google Classroom, that you need to check in with your favorite color there, and you can start your Zearn lessons. You only need to do 4 this week. So good luck, have fun, and I will check in with you soon.